Hey guys, today I wanted to take some time and talk about the importance of B-roll in your videos and share some tips and tricks that'll hopefully help you shoot better B-roll. B-roll is essentially the alternative footage to the main shots in your project. It's just extra shots that help tell your story or convey a certain feeling to your audience. I always end up using a ton of B-roll footage in a lot of the music videos that I work on and also the promos that I do for small businesses. So why is it called B-roll and what's the difference between A-roll and B-roll? From a storytelling aspect, your A-roll is focused on the main characters and the plot of the story. And then the B-roll is the cutaway shots and the insert shots that you see here and there throughout a video. But also when it comes to music videos, the main performance scenes that you shoot with the artist kind of count as the A-roll, and whatever storyline or little moments that you're adding between the performances, that is going to count as your B-roll. But let's say you're working on a project for a small business or shooting a conference or an event. So the interview that you capture is going to be your A-roll, and then whatever you capture of the conference, the scenery, the insert shots, and everything else, that's going to be your B-roll. So A-roll is always going to be your main shots, main performances, your interviews, where the plot is happening, and then your B-roll is always your insert shots, your cutaway shots, close-ups of details and things like that. If you've ever seen any videos that are mostly made up of B-roll moments, does that still count as B-roll or is that A-roll? Then my answer to that is yes, it still counts as B-roll as long as there's no dialogue or interview footage and there's music covering over the entire video, then it's gonna count as B-roll. Once you introduce dialogue and there's audio involved, then that's gonna be your A-roll, and B-roll is all the other moments. So I think you kind of get the point now. Now, does it make sense to have a video that's mostly made up of B-roll moments? Yes, it just depends. If you're shooting a music video and maybe the concept calls for only B-roll moments, then maybe that is an appropriate place to only use B-roll moments. If the artist doesn't want to have any performance footage of it in there, then what you're stuck with is just having B-roll moments for the rest of the video. If you're shooting an interview or working for a small business, where you're doing a lot of cutaways, little inserts, kind of making a fun video, then maybe B-roll is the best option there. So why is B-roll so important? Because it helps the audience engage with the content that you're shooting. It makes the audience want to watch more of what's happening. So I have 3 tips that I want to give you guys that'll hopefully help you shoot better B-roll. But before we jump in, if you're new to my channel, it would mean a ton if you would subscribe. And also, as a gift, I have some free filmmaking assets below attached in a link, so check that out, no strings attached. And I have some overlays, LUTs, aspect ratio boxes, totally free, so please check that out. So the first tip that I can offer you guys when it comes to shooting B-roll is to make it smooth. Try to use a gimbal or some type of a stabilizer that'll help you get smooth cinematic shots. Gimbals give you the ability to float through a scene. Having smooth cinematic footage will bring energy to your video and help it come to life. One thing that can help your video feel more cinematic is to simply just tell your subject, artist, or whoever you're shooting, just give them some actions around the space you're shooting in. Like maybe just have them walking, or maybe have them pick up a certain object, or read a book, or make coffee, or something like that. Those little B-roll moments will fit in really well with whatever you're doing. When you follow your subject, you're basically invited into their world and able to see things from their perspective. When it comes to capturing, a really simple way of doing it is basically just follow them from behind and also do another take where you follow them from the front. The purpose of following your subject around the space is to basically show that they're on their way to a destination and they have something to do. This gives them an action, gives them start and end point to a story. Let's say if you're following an athlete, is getting them from the entrance of the gym to the place where they're gonna work out, and just kind of having that as a start and end point. If they're gonna play basketball, just getting them in the gym, warming up, and then getting B-roll moments of them, practicing and taking shots and stuff like that. If it's a music video or performance, maybe they're walking through a house and there's a purpose and reason why they're walking to certain rooms in that house. Those B-roll moments will help just to keep your audience engaged basically. If you're following your subject, make sure to shoot with a variety of angles, you know, shoot in wide, medium, and close-ups. You know, maybe get some shots of their feet walking. If they're carrying an object, be sure to get some close-ups of that object. Okay, tip number 2 is to shoot with a shallow depth of field. Basically, throw your background out of focus by shooting with a faster lens. Find lenses that can shoot anywhere between f1.4 to 2.8. With shooting with faster lenses, you're able to have control over how you pull the focus. If you have a faster lens, use the focus to your advantage. Use it to reveal certain parts of the frame that you want to draw the audience's eyes to. So if your subject is in the middle and someone's walking behind them, you know, you can use the focus function to just get that little B-roll moment of the person walking behind them. Similar to my last tip, make sure to shoot the details in every scene so you have things to cut to while you're doing the performance. And here's a few clips of how I use B-roll moments in my music videos to cut between performances and also switch scenes.
No Patron, silver line, and just an empty margarita. Left me in this tequila high and dry. Let me tell you about a man. Spent his life suitcase in hand, 3-piece suit and a $2 map with nowhere to go. Why do I feel I need to break up silence? Love is patient, so why do I fight it? Am I only making plans just to rush the way?
I be on the west side, lay low. Had to relocate, had to follow my dreams, yo. Traveled all these miles, but you ain't too far away, no. Giving you the space, never asking how your day go, yeah. I go to move on, you confused.
I want to say, getting to know you was the greatest thing I've ever done.
Greatest thing I've ever, yeah. It's going my way.
And then my last tip for you guys when it comes to shooting B-roll is to shoot in slow motion. If your camera has the capability to shoot in slow-mo, then I would encourage you guys to shoot some more slow-mo with it. It really comes down to your project. Before you do it, make sure that it's a good fit for your project. You know, run it by the client. If you're working with a director, run it by the director. And the good thing with shooting slow-mo is that your moments are drawn out a little bit longer. So, you know, 5 seconds of slow-mo in real time could be about, you know, 10 to 15 seconds of slow-mo. So you have a little bit more flexibility as to what parts you want to grab and put on your music videos or your videos that you're working on. So there you have it. Take the 3 tips that I just gave you guys, jumble them together, and you can have some really beautiful cinematic B-roll footage that you can use for your next video. And I also encourage you guys to go watch some commercials, TV shows, you know, get on Netflix and Hulu and just kind of see how other directors and filmmakers use B-roll moments to kind of spice up the storytelling process. If you start studying a lot of the movies and TV shows and documentaries that are out right now on Netflix or Hulu or whatever platform you like to watch your stuff on, you can see smooth, slow motion, shallow B-roll moments being used across all media formats. So if you just pay attention, you can see how different filmmakers are using it, you know, for their movies and for their films that they're making. And then one last final tip that I will give you guys when it comes to shooting B-roll is that you can utilize a lot of the B-roll footage that you shoot for your projects and upload them to stock websites and make passive income. And that's exactly what I've done. I've had many music videos and business promo shoots or just documentaries that I've shot in the past, and I've just taken all my footage from those projects and uploaded them, and I'm able to make some passive income off of them. So that's one good thing to consider. You can go out and practice, you know, just go out in nature and shoot a ton of stuff. You can travel and shoot a ton of things in a city, in New York or LA or the beach or the mountains, and just get all types of B-roll that you can also upload and utilize for stock footage. And also when it comes to shooting B-roll, make sure to overshoot than undershoot. It's always better to overshoot because you never know how things are gonna fit in post or when you're editing. So make sure to just have more options to look through than not have any options. You know, you don't wanna be stuck with not having enough footage. You'd rather have more. So take all those tips. I hope those have been helpful to you guys. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please comment them below. And it would mean a ton if you haven't subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you guys soon.